Foreplay episode by Barstool Sports. It is Thursday, March 17, 2022. We got the entire squadron on this show. It's myself, Trent, Frankie, and Lurch. Big shout out to Jake Bass and Brendan Jones for everything that they do, especially Brendan Jones right now with the Max Homa video popping off. Almost 2 hours, an hour and 50 minutes editing right up until the deadline as is expected. There's just audio from 5 different people, audio tracks, GoPros, a bunch of cameras on the course, drones flying into fucking trees, fans, all kinds of stuff going into that edit. I imagine we will definitely get into that video. And then we have a Super Bowl champion, LA Rams punter, Johnny Hekker joins the show, who's a huge golfer. We get into, obviously, golf experiences, golf compared to punting, the specialization of punting, winning a Super Bowl, a lot of good stuff at the end of the show, so stick around for that. But, boys, the Max Homa video's out. It's doing extremely well. People love the scramble. It's pretty much what it comes down to.
It's a monster, an absolute monster. I tweeted out this photo of the editing timeline from Brendan Jones last night, and it really is such a... you have to take a step back when you see something like that, because how much work goes into these videos is psychotic. So for all the viewers and even for us, it's just a reminder of like no other YouTube page, and you can go look, like no other YouTube page is doing what these guys are doing. Like, yeah, we're putting out we're in the videos and stuff, and we're traveling around and we're making the content, but at the end of the day, like it has to be edited and put down on a timeline. That fucking timeline would take most people fucking months. It's crazy what is happening. I got so many DMs from actual editors being like, I can't even look at that right now. Like, that's giving me so much fucking anxiety. And looking at how many cameras, how many pieces of audio, how many transitions, how many fucking colorizations that he's doing. And the fact that last week he put out a Rory video, this week he did that video, and next week we have another Rory video coming out. The biggest videos of our careers are just coming out within 3 weeks, and they're nonstop crazy action. This was an hour and 50-minute video, and he had to take stuff out. Like that's just the good stuff. So it's fucking insane what they're doing. I can't imagine. I used to stress having to put out a pizza review for 4 minutes, a 4-minute edited pizza review, like when I had a day to edit it, and this guy's putting out an hour and 50-minute full-on golf match in a week. Come on, man. It's crazy. It's absolutely insane.
Yeah. I know what Brendan does, but I don't know what he does. Like I certainly don't fully appreciate.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I know where he sits, and I know what he like. I know that we act like jackasses on camera for like 6 hours with a professional golfer. I hug my parents, and then we hand him a bunch of footage, and are just like, "All right, man, good luck with that." And then back when I first started at Barstool, I would edit my own videos, so I had I had a low level of knowledge in terms of how to edit a video, but what goes into what he does is something that I don't understand. And hearing from people like Frankie is saying, who actually know what they're doing in terms of editing, and knowing how much of a monster Brendan is and his capabilities to be able to do it in that short amount of time, it's awesome, because I watched the video last night and it's fucking perfect. Like, it's exactly what we all wanted it to be. It had all the moments, it had all the footage, it had all the mic tracks, and it goes into a factory back there. Brendan Jones is the one-man factory, and he just puts it out. It's super impressive, so shout out to him.
It's an hour and 50 minutes. I mean, it's a full film. It's like these films take other companies years to produce, years to make that right. It's an hour and 50, like that's a crazy statistic, and it flows, and it was perfect and told the story, and people it's awesome because people loved it. Max is a complete beauty. It was so fun playing with him, and there's just a crazy amount of storylines just in that 18 holes. I mean, I think honestly the best moment in foreplay history when Trent's parents were just there. So if you haven't seen that, you gotta at least go into the video and find that moment, because that's the most special thing I've ever seen in my life. But yeah, shout out to him. Shout out to the team getting it all done. It was exceptional, and it is exceptional.
Yeah, we're able to obviously go out and play and fuck around and set all this stuff up and have these relationships and back and forth and chirps with the players. You don't realize, like, nobody would see any of it if it weren't for that. Nobody would see a fucking thing. And people, when we first film them, say, when's the Homa thing coming out? I'm like, do you guys, he has to edit a feature film. An hour and 50 minutes is longer than a lot of movies with drone footage, colorization, everything else that Frankie just said. And on top of that, we're putting out other shit all the time as well. Like Rory came out, Harry Higgs came out. in between that time. So enormous work by eBug, by Jake, by our whole staff behind the scenes, Avery, and everybody that came out and filmed with us. We very much appreciate it. Nick, I believe, was out there as well. So
Fasoli, he
awesome crew.
He flew the drone into the tree.
Fasoli right into the fucking tree, which we've all done before. I did it at the Tommy Fleetwood shoot. Pretty much the exact same move. You're doing when you're really vulnerable as a drone pilot is when you're doing that sort of spin around, reveal orbital shot, and you got like 75% of your vision is blind at that point. You're just flying towards what you can't see, but you're so focused on the shot. Your fingers need to be locked in. You need to have really good control and touch to kind of spin the gimbal and the drone at the same time, and then you just hit a fucking tree, and it's all over, and that happened to him. Whew, that was a tough scene. But
he didn't even really seem to care. I mean, the guy was like, it was like, yeah, whatever. Like, I don't think his heart rate even went up a 1 beat per second. Like, I would love to see his whoop in that matter because I don't think it affected him at all because at one point the drone went in there kind of like amazingly enough restabilized itself and was flying. And then I think he blasted it right into the trees again. And that's when he came down. It was really exceptional to see the lack of excitement when he crashed the drone. It was just, I don't want to say lack of care because maybe he did. Maybe that's just the way the Fasoli is. But like, he didn't, nothing. No change.
Yeah. It was cool, calm, and collected for sure.
Yeah, all the way through breaking the drone. Really amazing.
Yeah, I think it was almost, it's like he was trying to remain calm so everyone else would just stay calm. Like, if I just don't panic about this situation, nobody will think it's that big of a deal. But, I mean, he just flew a fucking drone right into a tree in the middle of an enormous shot. And then poor Homa. I mean, Homa goes down. He's in a brutal spot on like a 240-yard par 3. He's down there trying to chip. There's this chaos going on, so his chipping gets delayed. Hits like an okay chip. He's got a chance for par. And then Trent just makes a fucking bomb from off the green from 50 feet. And then his parents show up, and Homa's just sitting in his cart. And after that, he was in the line of carts, so he couldn't even like just drive away from the scene. He just had to sit there and take it all in. And he was like, I'm trying to enjoy this, but I mean, I'm fucking getting killed. These guys are making bombs. Trent's like a +5 handicap all of a sudden. It's a family affair. It was just chaos at that moment. That was when I thought we were going to win by 6 at that moment. I mean, we were just killing them. Absolutely killing them. All right, we got a lot more to get to. I want to talk about Animules real quick. Fairway play golf these guys came up with. Spoken about it before, but look, you're playing golf the same way every time. I know it's boring. I know you send us emails from the galleries being like, hey, I'm going on a buddy's trip, or I got this crew out this Saturday. There's only a threesome. What games can you guys play? I could not recommend Animules enough. Okay, go download it. And the way that it works, you get different animals that you collect for certain shots. If you hit a rock, if you hit into the bunker, if you 3-putt, there's all sorts of things that occur on a golf course that you don't think about all the time because you're so focused on score. This completely changes that. Whoever's got the most animals, when you see the beverage cart, you got to buy the next round, whatever anybody wants, and then it can reset, or you can play it a different way where it just kind of keeps stacking up. It keeps going, and the beverage cart plays a role. Everybody plays a role. Score doesn't really matter. It's way more about the fun and the animals and the difference of playing a different game. So go download it for free. That is for free. Go download the Animules app. Play a different way. Learn a different way to play golf. Have a good time with your friends. I know these guys that came up with it, and they are very funny when it comes to playing. So go download today. That is ANAMULES. Download Animules today. Available for free at Apple and Android app stores. Download today and add this to your regular game play. We had a little bit of a update from the Kevin Kisner and Dwayne Bach situation. If folks recall on Monday, we're all tuning in, and we just start seeing Trent's swing coach is carrying the bag for Kevin Kisner as he's trying to win the Players' Championship, the biggest purse in golf, $20 million purse. $3.6 million for first place. It would obviously be the biggest win of Kiz's career. He almost won in 2015 against Ricky Fowler. They showed that putt a bunch of times where Kiz just burned the high side on the 18th hole, 72nd hole for a chance to win. Here he comes down the stretch, and they're showing him, and there's just Tillery with the fucking caddy bib on. So nobody really knew what was going on. And we all know Kiz. I mean, Kiz could have exploded on somebody. He could have kicked Dewey off the golf course. Dewey could have fallen down a hill. He's notorious for falling and stumbling on golf courses. People start tweeting that Dewey got ill. And so I found this quote, amazing quotes from Kiz, who clarified the situation. He said, I didn't know he was feeling as bad as he was until I noticed he was even slower than normal.
God. Fuck.
And then he goes, hopefully he's feeling all right. And then he goes, it turns out he did just have a 24-hour stomach bug. Talked to Kiz. Dewey's like, fine now. He goes, John's a trip, man. Every hole. How far we got, pro? This is what Tillery was asking Kiz. So just thinking about these two fucking morons out there in the biggest stage in golf, and they doesn't have Dewey. JT's out there with not a care in the world, just like, yeah, well, how far do you think we got here, pro? And yet Kiz is making birdie after birdie after birdie, finishes solo fourth, wins $980,000. That's why they're our crew.
It's crazy.
I think it was the fifth or sixth hole. Something happened. Like Kiz hit a shot and it was short, and he like stared at Dewey, and I was like, oh boy, that was kind of weird. Like stared at him. And I don't know if that's like now knowing what happened, like Dewey's like, what's wrong with this guy right now? Why is he just like off? Because he's just staring at him. And then all of a sudden the camera switched to like the side angle and you see Dewey really like limping and walking slow. And I remember just chuckling to myself being like, that's the best fucking guy on the planet right there. Dewey's just barely making it down the course. And now knowing that he's holding in just like a massive shit or
right, exactly. Maybe he farted at the top of Kisner's swing and just ruined the tempo. I mean, you know,
it's so Dewey, it's crazy to just barely be able to make it to the bathroom.
I wish they had put mics on Tillery and Kiz for that round. That would have been a great idea, because just hanging out with Tillery and spending a lot of time with him, he's got the demeanor, I feel like, for a pretty good caddy, but it might fall to the side of like lackadaisical. He might just be like, yeah. What do you think? What do you got here?
Yeah, I heard some other quotes, and I'll maybe or Riggs, you got more quotes from him?
Yeah, Kiz went on. He goes, for a little bit there was a whirlwind because they switched kind of mid-round and a lot going on. Trying to figure out who had what information and who had golf balls because Dewey does everything. He goes, we've been together 13 years. He's like my second wife who takes care of everything. And then I get the most disorganized human in the world caddying for me in JT.
So good. And like JT, like maybe you may or may not have like enough golf balls, like had nothing. Then I think there was like maybe rain gear that he had to switch into. Like he was like, maybe we got that, just all over the place. So good.
Yeah, it was. That's our crew. Those are our guys. Kids somehow figures out a way to finish with a bunch of birdies. Played great. Finishes fourth. I think he texted me yesterday too. He's like, I'm pretty sure I won my tournament, which I think he was referring to that wave of golf. I don't know exactly what wave the top three guys were in. Cam Smith, I think, was in the easier wave, but he was like, yeah, I won my tournament, which is obviously the guys that had the fucking shit draw and had to play in that chaos on Saturday.
That's interesting. You think they're all acutely aware of that? Because that is interesting. Like, you go play the Open or something like that. Maybe you just get screwed on weather day. And I wonder if they do take like internal pride on that, of being like, well, actually, my morning and afternoon group on Thursday, Friday, like I won that wave through the weekend. So I don't know. That's kind of, I've never heard of that, but it's kind of interesting.
I'm sure it was more glaring this week. It was pretty obvious who got the good, who got the bad. So, but I bet they are. I bet largely they are aware of like the weather that they get and the weather the other guys get, I would guess. Yeah,
I mean, that's why I mentioned the Open. Just like in those few tournaments that it truly, really affects the field, and this was obviously one of them. It'd be hard to even keep track of, because like somebody was finishing their first round on like felt like Sunday morning. So, anyways, just an interesting take by Kiz there.
Yeah, I think especially after he made the comments on Saturday night about the integrity of the tournament. Clearly, it was on his mind. Clearly, he understood that like they kind of got fucked. They had to play in some of the hardest conditions in the history of the PGA Tour with that wind and how big of a tournament it was and how big of a purse it was. So yeah, I mean, Kiz is a pretty acute guy. I wouldn't be surprised if he knew it week in and week out. But in terms of like I don't know. I bet the average tournament nobody really cares. But yeah, Open Championship, something like that, where the draw made a huge difference. I don't even know if he did win it. I don't know if those other three guys. I mean, I imagine Smith, because I think Kiz would have known that. Whoever else was up there ahead of him, I don't know. I'm not sure who was in that way. But anyways,
what's the definition of acute? You guys are using it in a way that I've never heard before.
I want to say
acute. Is it like
it's an angle that's less than 90 degrees?
Well, yeah, but I don't think that's how we're using it
Right,
now.
right. But you're like
Hey,
focusing
Trent.
on a small object.
Hey Trent, are you a triangle? Because you're cute.
Nice. Thank you. I'm blushing now. But I don't think that's the way that they're using it.
It makes me think of the line in Shawshank Redemption when they talk about obtuse, and then he comes into the solitary confinement. He goes, "Am I still being obtuse?" So yeah, I think you can use it in speech. If you can't, at least we're just gonna get away with it. So you're gonna have to deal with it. But I think Lurch is right. I think it's like honing in on a specific
Item.
smaller focus, right?
I think so.
Like this.
Okay.
Oh boy,
I
what's
think
that?
you guys are probably right.
That's a cute. Smaller.
That's Trent.
Frank
Trent
is
is
making
now
shapes
acute.
with his hand.
Hey, you a triangle,
Yeah.
baby?
All right. Yeah, that was interesting. I
That's
just
your
never
new
heard
pickup
people
line?
use it that way.
Hey, yo, baby, you a triangle?
Because you were cute. Oh, what up, girl?
Oh! biting your lip, like.
Hey, baby, you a small little triangle? Yeah, because you were cute.
You don't need to say small because acute's in the joke.
Right, but that's
I apologize for this.
You could
This
be
is
an
iconic.
obtuse
This is on you,
triangle.
Trent. This is on you.
Yeah, I apologize.
Actually, no. Yeah, you could.
You got to be a little more acute of the situation there.
Yeah.
Internet says having or showing a perceptive understanding or insight.
Okay. So that's right. You guys are using it right, and I'm going to now use that in my own life. I like that.
Hedrick Stenson is what are you dancing for right now?
Because we were using the term correctly. I think as a group we should celebrate. There's a lot of things on this show we screw up, and it turns out we just maybe made up a word. Frankie said drizzle or something. What'd you say? Dripple?
Dripple
In the video?
But
I mean,
I think that was more of a. Was that just more of a mispronunciation, or was that
No, it was more like I was talking, and I just kind of said the wrong word. Obviously knew it's dribble into the bunker, but it's a dripple. Everyone picked up on it.
Yeah. So I'm just celebrating the fact that we use acute in the right manner.
Lurch? Your dance moves are reminding me that we have to talk about your video, your Happy Gilmore video that you submitted to Jake Bass. Jake Bass, are you there? Can you talk from the sky right now?
What's going on?
We talked about this a little bit on last
Yeah,
episode.
but I would like to.
If you stuck around on YouTube, it was in the very end of the video.
But I would like to further discuss the process of how. So from Jake Bass's vantage point, Jake Bass is obviously our editor and our producer when it comes to kind of quick hitter stuff. He handles all of that. So from Jake Bass's vantage point, you're sitting there on Sunday, okay? You've had myself, you've had Frankie, Trent. We submitted these kind of spring-themed videos, and then what did you get, Jake Bass?
I got a phone call, and Lurch wanted me to describe what was going on. And I was like,
the
hey.
phone call, quickly to interject, was this like, are we supposed to do Happy Gilmore type videos, spring videos? What's going on? And so I was driving home from the airport.
Why couldn't you just
and I was
read
like,
from the
sun's
text
gonna
messages?
fall.
Why couldn't you read the text messages?
Because it seemed like there was a little bit of a blend of
But
those
then
two
I
items. And I
sent
did
Lurch the videos you all did.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I started my acting experience prior to getting those videos. I think I was already.
Okay, gotcha. So
I sent him the videos at 5:22
Okay.
p.m. and I got 6 videos, most of which were just him fumbling the camera.
And heavily breathing.
26 minutes later, or 16 minutes later.
Well, I thought I needed the AirPods in so the camera could hear me because when I was when I was far away, so I was like, I'll put the AirPods in so then the phone can hear me. But then really what that did is, I don't move a ton during the day. Busy days, sit a lot here at this desk. And when I start moving around, I breathe. I get the heavy breaths going fast.
So you take these. Did you do any quality control yourself of these videos, or did you film them and just send them right away?
There was 1 or 2 that I deleted because they were no good.
Wow. The fact that there were a couple that didn't make the cut. What did those videos?
Well, because the camera was just like totally pointed in maybe even the wrong direction. So there was none of me in there. But with regards to like, if it had a little bit of me, it was getting sent over to Jake Bass.
And then what instructions What instructions were given to Jake Bass
Nothing.
from
Nothing.
Okay.
Nothing.
Yep.
Okay. So he just received 6 of those choppy videos or so
Yeah.
with no instruction
I
whatsoever.
responded to
and-
Lurch. I said, "I'm very confused. Haha. Did you not just do a video of you doing lawn work, or is that the full scene you want me to cut together? The video of you running is sent in bad quality. If you could resend it." And then he called me to explain it. And then I was doing
Gotcha.
something, so I said, "I'll talk to you in 30 minutes." And then he said the videos
Okay.
are mutually exclusive.
Oh, wow. They weren't connected to a
yard work
larger
videos,
scene?
Yeah, the yard work videos were mutually exclusive, but then the videos of me saying, "Hey, I believe that's like Billy Madison's jacket," or whatever the line is. And
He
then,
got his
Mr.
name wrong in
Gilmore.
the video too,
Did
which
the
is
wrong
very
movie
funny.
too. Did the wrong movie.
or sorry, did I say Billy Madison
Wrong
in the
movie.
video?
You said Mr. That's Mr. Madison's jacket.
That's not Happy Gilmore's, huh?
No.
Darn.
You said that in the video?
Oh yeah, if you go back and watch it, he says,
makes it
"Excuse
even
me, that's
better.
Mr. Madison's jacket."
Makes
Dude,
it honestly
the
better.
video.
Trent
Dude,
loves
Jake
the
Bass.
video.
I do too.
I
think the video is fantastic, but
Love it. I love it. I think the video that Jake Bass cut together and sent to us made me laugh so much, and it's so weird that I think it could win like an avant-garde abstract like art award. Like it's that weird. You hopping around is like it's something like I've never seen before. It's something that I certainly couldn't create. I think you're the only person on this podcast who has the capability of creating something so strange and just for no reason whatsoever.
It was
I love
meant to be a Happy Gilmore promo with all our gear. I was switching shirts in between. There was actually one video that I'm bummed that, I don't know, got deleted or didn't save or whatever the case may be, of I had the camera pointed back up the hill and I hid behind the tree, and there's that shot where Shooter McGavin is running over the hill trying to put this jacket on as he's running down the hill, and for whatever reason that video itself did not make it into the Jake Bass arsenal of Lurch videos. And so that's a shame that didn't get to him, because that was that was a huge piece in this movie, this short film that I made.
I think what Trent was trying to say too is like that you're so bad at this, like this world and like this specific job, like of the internet. You're so bad at the internet that you're the only person maybe on the internet that could put out a video like that, because it would be perceived as like genuine and like you actually tried to make a funny video, when like
Which
if
is
we
funny.
tried to make that video, right, it ends
Right.
up being funny.
Yes.
Because you're
Right.
so bad
Yes.
at it that it ends up being really funny.
Yeah, I don't put any
If we-
TLC into it. It's just like this.
No,
is
it's not
some
that. It's
dumb
just like you
goofy-
genuinely think it's good, so and it's so bad that it's funny. So, oh yeah, oh yeah, and that's with a lot of.
There's going to be some disagreement from Lurch on that one, I would imagine. But
right.
it's
You're so horrendously bad at this that that video is so funny. Like you have to watch it a million times because you're like, look how bad this is.
Yeah, I think there's definitely some.
If I did that, they'd be
think
like, "Oh,
wins
Frankie's
you
such a
over.
tryhard trying to like do something like weird."
Well, I think
like,
it's like different brands.
Agreed.
Like
you're
who
just
you
so
are and
it's
who
like
I
you're
am. So it
special.
makes
You know what I mean? Like we're
Yes.
like it's like we're just like, look at this guy.
Yeah, it's
Look at
definitely
this guy.
two different
it's
brands.
almost
You're
it's like
circus.
the product doesn't the final version doesn't even matter. It's that
No.
through the product we can actually see the process, and it's very funny to like everyone can, you're basically, it's like we're there and we understand how much trouble you had to film this video, and that makes it hilarious, like being able to see how much you struggled with it. And then also part of like the people listening to the show can understand that like Jake had to like piece this together, and Lurch sent it, and you probably thought it was very clear when you sent it, and like this is an obvious storyline, like duh.
Definitely
and
thought
like
it was
everyone
very
else,
clear. Definitely.
yeah,
I mean,
and
it took
everyone
me
else
all
is
of,
like,
took
what
me all of
the
like
fuck
4.5
is this?
minutes.
What am I looking at? Yeah, that's right.
It took
And
me
so
all
then,
4.5
like the fact
minutes.
too,
Yeah.
the fact that you don't know how the one video didn't make it to Jake is like you were.
Perfect.
It was a one-man show, so like the only person that will ever know the answer to those questions is you, but you're the most perplexed by it. So it's like it's just the whole thing is it's incredible. Like Trent said, it's just fantastic.
How long did it take you, all told, the time
Probably 4
to
minutes.
do it? Okay.
4.5 minutes, something like that. Sub 5. Sun was falling. I got a little notification on my little watch the little Garmin watch that says like, hey, sunset in 10 minutes. So I knew I had to be quick with it in order to have the sunlight still. And then, yeah, sent those over. I will say, Riggs's point, I definitely assume that like Jake got the kind of the guts of the video in terms of that scene with Mr. Larson and saying like, hey, that's Happy's jacket. And then you see Shooter run over the hill and then Mr. Larson, like these just preposterous shots of him running after Shooter. So that was definitely the assumption. And no, there's like, okay, I'll just be goofy, lack of caring, and just send this off to Jake and have him put it together.
Yeah, again, I think it was great. But it's kind of a theme. I think you do the same thing with texting. You just send texts that just don't make any sense and expect everyone to understand exactly what you meant.
That's true. No, that's true.
I love the video. I'm with Trent. I think it's phenomenal. I think everything about it is so genuine and pure. It's a journey. I mean, you're taking us on a journey, and you clearly have a weird desire for some of these like remaking short films, creating your own characters. I think that there's something in there for sure.
Honestly, it makes me laugh the whole time. I was just, Jimmy V. Spend a moment in thought, laugh, and move your emotions to tears every day. You do those three things. This makes me just laugh the whole time I was doing it. I was smirk, smiling, laughing. Just the thought of like, if anybody walked by, he sees some just idiot hop behind a bush, put on a jacket, fake this run. It was a funny couple 4.5 minutes for me there.
You had a great time. Like filming this was
really good time.
Like one of the funniest 5 minutes you've ever been a part of in your life.
It was pretty good. Made myself smile.
I love it. I just love it. It's so pure. Frankie's right. It's just pure. All right. By now, you've probably heard all the cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin, you might even already be investing in some of them. But did you know that you can invest in cryptocurrencies through your retirement account? That's right. iTrust Capital. You can buy and sell cryptocurrencies from a crypto IRA and get all the same tax advantages as a traditional IRA. iTrust Capital allows you to invest in over 24 of the most popular cryptocurrencies, and unlike the stock market, you can buy and sell 24 hours a day. The iTrust Capital platform is easy to use. It only takes a few minutes to create your account. Setting up an IRA is free, and iTrust fees are very low. It's time to start taking control of your financial future. I imagine we all need to be better at that. I know we all need to be better at that. And do it with iTrust Capital. You can get all the tax benefits of a retirement account while investing in crypto, which is obviously cool and hip and new, and it's the talk of the town. Visit itrustcapital.com to start investing today. That's itrustcapital.com. Taxes and conditions may apply. Fees apply. Cryptocurrencies are a speculative investment with risk of loss. iTrust Capital Incorporated does not provide legal, investment, or tax advice. Consult with qualified legal, investment, or tax professional. Big thanks to iTrust Capital. It's a good idea. Crypto. Everybody's talking about crypto. IRAs. Seems like an adult thing that we should have. Prepare. Be ready. So big thanks to iTrust.
I have a couple grievances I need to get off my chest, and I need to say them on this podcast now before I forget. Number one. Oh, my God. What was I going to start with? Okay. Number one. The First Tee program. I need somebody from this program, whether it's the top C-suite level or somebody, to just respond to me. Like, I've got this check. I feel like Jonah Hill in the 40-Year-Old Virgin, where he just wants to buy these
buy those shoes.
I have these shoes. I just want to buy them. She's like, no, you don't get it. You have to buy it on eBay. She's like, but I have them in my hands. I just want to take these home. She's like, no, I have to sell them online. He just doesn't understand. I have this check, really big check, that Trent and I had raised a ton of money for. Foreplay ended up rounding up the number all the way to $10,000 for the First Tee program. Great cause. We want to give this money to the First Tee program. I can't get in touch with the First Tee program if my life depended on it. If someone put a gun to my head and they were like, you got to get in touch with the First Tee right now. Right now, I'd be dead. They won't answer me. I've sent Instagram DMs, emails, fucking Twitter DMs. They don't even read it. No one wants this money. I'm like, hey, where should I bring it to? You guys have a headquarters that you want to allocate the money to? Should I bring it to a local one? Like, I have one in my town. Do I just walk in and just say, hey, here's money? I don't know. Like, how do they operate? Do they spread the money around? Do you do local ones? Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, I want to know what the best use of this money is. It's $10,000. Like, let's go. Let's find out where to put this cash. They just had I saw, like, instead of reading my message, they're at freaking Liberty National with like some, like, I don't know, donor meeting or something. It's like, come on, man, I got some cash here. I want to give it to you. So I need someone to reach out to me. I'm trying to do a good thing here, and it's just they're making it freaking hard for me. I've got this comically big check at my desk, and I just want to hand it off to them. That's number one.
Okay. You said a few things, so I've totally fair. I'm interested in what the others are as well.
I'll say I've been thinking this the entire time, too, because the first tee seems to not acknowledge anything. I mean, wasn't there a plug during the Players' Championship about, raising money, or one of the tournaments the last couple of weeks about the money raised? And then we looked at the first tee program, social accounts, and they just don't. I don't know if they just aren't on social media or if they just don't care. I don't know if they don't like us. I'm not really sure what, but it is quite bizarre that if
they don't like us, we're giving them this money. I don't care if they like us or don't.
I want to say this because if people are going to say this to you in response to what you just said. Have you tried calling them?
No. I sent an email. I don't know. I thought that'd be...
No, I know. I know you're trying, but I'm just saying people are going to say, because you listed a bunch of things that you had done and they were all social media DMs. Maybe just hop on the old horn and say, hey, I got a bunch of money I want to give you.
But an official official email to like their email should definitely be responded. All right, I'll call them. I want to get in contact with like the head, whoever's like. That's why I wanted to go through email or DM, because like someone's gonna fling it up the board and be like, hey, I just got this. Where should we send them? As opposed to just like calling up the East Meadow one, because then I could just. Go there. But yeah, there's probably a corporate number. You're right. I could probably call a corporate number. Number 2 would be. What the fuck is going on with these? What's actually going on? And maybe this is like a what's up doc, but what's actually going on with this supply chain issue in the world? You know what I mean? Like, what's actually happening? I got a couch that won't come now for 8 months. And I want to know what's actually happening from today. We ordered it in January. I want to know what's happening from today until August to that couch. And if someone can DM me, explain it to me, I'll read all the responses. I want to know, like, tomorrow, where's that couch? The next day, where is that couch? And for the next 4 months, what happens to that couch from a day-to-day basis? It just sits there. No one goes and gets it. Someone needs to be put in jail.
Well, I think it hasn't been created yet. That would be my guess.
So you don't think it's been created yet?
No, I think that this is the materials needed to build your couch. Even if it's one of the materials, are backed up so much that they're in demand for all kinds of different things, not just couches and not just your couch, and that has a trickle back effect, if you want to call it that is really causing. I think it's very unlikely that your couch is perfectly ready made and someone's just like, yeah, I'm not going to pick it up for 9 months.
That's what it seems like, dude. Because bro, it was supposed to come on Monday. Like, we were gassed up. Like, we ordered January. We're like, all right, let's just make it to the end of March. Let's just fucking grind, not have a couch, like, not move into the house. Let's just fucking wait for this thing so that everything's ready. And then we got an email yesterday being like, we're so sorry to let you know it's not coming until August 28th. And we're just like, unacceptable. I'm screaming at the top, unacceptable. Like Michael Scott, just like he just declares bankruptcy. I'm just screaming, this is unacceptable. Someone has to listen to me.
When did they notify you of the change? Because like
yesterday.
And it was supposed to come this past Monday of this week? This coming Monday. And they notified you yesterday. So like that's August. Where Riggs loses a little validity, but maybe true. Like they're still waiting on something. They just got notified from a vendor being like, actually the fabric, that's not coming until July. So, like, it's almost impossible for a company, because they're buying from other companies, to be like, I can't tell you where these parts are because they're in no man's land. They're just not here.
And so, I think that like your couch company's doing the same thing you're doing. They're like, what do you mean the fabric's not coming until fucking July? Like, and then they got to tell Frankie Borelli, and then Frankie's got to tell his fiance, and then she's like, what do you mean, Frankie, the couch isn't coming? And everybody's like, that's literally the supply chain. That's what we're talking about. I think it sucks. It's fucking dog shit.
It's happening with everything. It's happening with everything.
It's not
Golf
just
clubs.
Normal?
It's
How
crazy.
Come the chain? Where did the chain get messed up? Who was it?
I don't
that
know.
Fucking canal? Was it that goddamn ship in the canal? Like what?
That's
happened?
what
There's
makes
a
me
lot
think,
going
like-
on in the world right now, so I think we
That's
could have
true.
we could have a
But
few
the supply chain thing has been fucked for like.
Right,
I feel like
but
people have been
it's-
saying that for
It's
6
worse
months
now. I would say the world's worse right now than where
It is,
was.
but like that didn't affect my couch. I don't think my couch has been affected because of things that happened like a year ago. You know what I mean? Like it had to have.
yeah,
It's
I mean,
got to
there's
be
been
that
a lot
backed
going on in the
up.
last couple calendar years. There's been a lot going on. I think it probably has something to do with that. It has to.
If you work at Macy's furniture store, like
Yeah,
the
here we
furniture department, Macy's, I want an answer.
Yeah,
just
it's
message.
always gonna end with
Just,
this. It's always
just
gonna end
fucking
with this.
call me up personally and be like, "This is why your couch," because I'm not getting any answers. Oh, the third one
Brutal.
is that our soil isn't good enough. I listened to a recent podcast that said that everything is fucking all this fertilizer and stuff. Did you guys know a really interesting fact?
Go get a bunch
that
of
if you
manure.
would have, no, it's not good, dude. Our top soil's trash on this planet. We've ruined it. If you ate an orange in let's say 1920 or 1880, let's go, right? 1880 in the 1800s. If you ate an orange in 1880, you'd have to eat 8 oranges now to get the same nutrients out of that one orange in 1880, just because of how they're produced now.
See, you
We've
don't know
lost.
that because
Oh no, it's.
you just made up years. You started with 1980 and then you went all the way
Well, I'm
back
trying
to
to remember.
1880.
I'm
so
trying to
like
remember.
that-
I'm trying to remember in the podcast.
True. Nothing
exactly.
like that's true. It's a 40-year difference. I think he just gave us, which is, I mean,
The point
that's a
is that
substantial
because
amount
of
time.
the point is that in the last however many years it's been.
How many oranges was it worth in 1920? Was it like 5.5 oranges?
All right, guys. The point is that because of how mass producing we're making all of this agriculture and all of the like vegetables and fruits, and we're just mass producing these things, which we weren't doing in the 1920s. We definitely weren't doing the 1800s, which is why I switched it. The reason why is because they've like completely chemical. All of this stuff is like chemical based now, and it's like made so that we can just mass produce these vegetables and fruits, and it seems like it's organic. Even if it says organic, it's not actually organic. It's not like what it used to be, where like the earth was actually fully making an orange or a fucking piece of broccoli. You understand what I'm
Are
saying?
you talking about your property?
many
in
apples
Ireland,
I
or
gotta
you
eat?
just talking about the
How many
oranges?
apples do I got to eat?
Yeah, exactly. Good question. Apples are
Bro, go listen. It's this fucking
trying to
guy
learn.
It's this guy from fucking India. I'm not giving you all the fucking answers because I'm not. I'm just letting you know that Sadhguru on
Okay.
Joe Rogan, episode 1791,
Okay.
he talks about how this fucking planet is absolutely butt fucked, and he doesn't use that terminology, but basically like it's gonna keep getting so bad that we're like in 30, 40 years,
Well,
the nutrient levels are gonna continue to decrease, and we're just gonna have nothing, like absolutely nothing.
unfortunately, what this all comes down to, and it's two of your grievances come down to the supply chain thing, and now that I got to eat 15 oranges, is that
8.
there's just too many people. Like with the whole thing, and when I say the whole thing, I mean the whole thing. It got too big. It's all
Elon
too
Musk
big.
says
Also-
Elon Musk said we're on our like the down trajectory now. Though he says we need to make more people.
Frankie's complaining about oranges not being good. He's also asking for a couch to come from China, wherever the hell that thing's coming from. So now we got to burn all this. You should make your own couch, Frankie, and then you'd be more self-sustaining, create a healthier planet. Then you'd have better
Right,
oranges.
Grow your own oranges too.
Exactly.
That's kind of what it comes down to. It comes down to you, what you need to do. Instead of buying that house that you already bought, you just go buy like a piece of land somewhere and just plant all your own food, grow your own trees, build your own furniture. And that's the only way you're going to get things in a timely manner going forward. It's sane.
How much energy does it take for you to get that couch? Let's talk about that.
How much energy does it take for you to stand up from a fucking chair? What I want to say to you guys is that I think in this fucking podcast he explains that even if you plant your own fucking orange in your backyard, it still doesn't give you what it used to. He's basically saying the soil is manipulated. The soil is wrong. You understand me?
So what are we supposed to do?
Yeah,
is
but I
my
think there's a
question.
way-
Nothing. It's just something we all got to think about. It's just I thought it was an
There's
interesting.
a way you can. Isn't there a way you can recover soil, or isn't there a combination you can make that makes it nutrient rich? I could be
think
wrong.
You're supposed to only like turn over your plants every so often, or like only harvest certain crops in certain areas, but you shouldn't harvest like corn in the same area every time. You should do like corn, then oranges, then apples, so it pulls different nutrients and things like this. But Frankie, going back to your point, all right, we got bad soil. How do we fix that soil? How do we get better soil?
I don't know.
Probably
dude.
don't order a couch from China. A lot of pollution from that ship coming all the way across the globe to give you a couch so your fat ass can be comfortable.
You gotta, I mean,
And then you
got
got to have that ottoman.
I would.
Right.
Right.
I'm just gonna stand and watch the Islanders. What are you, nuts?
Right. That's what it comes down to.
It comes down to nobody cares. Everybody's like, I'm just going to be
That's right.
comfortable in this life. And you know what? My kids are going to have to deal with this is honestly kind of where it falls, as sad as that is. But
So he actually makes that point because Joe Rogan's like, well, how did we get to this point? Is it greed? And he's like, well, no, I think everyone for all of their life, he actually was making a point on behalf of humans saying, we just try and live as best a life as we can. And even the people that make a ton of money, billions of dollars, because Rogan's like, what about the people that make billions and want to make 100 billion? And they'll do anything they can to like lie to the public and do it. He's like, everyone's just trying to advance their life in the best way that they can. And the earth has come like second to that. Like we're just trying to live as best as we can. And I think every generation of this species, of our species, has tried to do that in some sense. It's just we've gotten a lot smarter and we've gotten a lot more technical and we've been able to honestly ruin the earth at a quicker rate at this point. But fuck, man, it was a really interesting listen. I just never would have thought of that. I never would have thought of something coming out of the ground. Like when I drink my orange juice, it's like organic orange juice. He's like, that's just not. If you would bite into an orange 150 years ago, it would just be completely different for your body.
be 8 times better.
Eight times better.
Everything
Completely
just comes
different
down
for
to
your
money,
body.
though. Because like you go and you see those oranges, you're going to buy the ones that are cheapest. You're not going to buy the, like if an orange is $22 because there's only so many oranges that you can make to have great soil, etc. You're going to go in there and buy the oranges that are like $3 that have all the pesticides that are just as fat as the other oranges, look the same thing, are labeled the same thing. You're like, fuck it. You know what I mean?
You have to buy 90 of them now instead of,
Exactly. But like,
That's right.
it just, and around we go. And then the only thing people do is like, I'm just going to get as much money as possible because that's the safest way in my brain that I can think if this planet goes to shit, at least I'll have enough money that I'll be okay. And then we watched that movie. What was that damn movie that just came out that was pretty much laughing about all of this?
Don't Look Up.
Don't Look Up. That's pretty much like what we're talking about. And then they take a space shuttle to like the next planet over, and then they die instantly.
Yeah.
It's woo-wee, round we go.
That was a
Not
pretty
good.
good. That was a pretty good summation, actually. I thought
All right.
that you just gave
Let's
Me or
move
Frankie?
into.
Lurch.
Thank you.
Let's move on. Let's move on to From the Gallery. From the Gallery, we got a handful of really good ones that I dug up from folks. Truly, we're going to bring you. From the Gallery is going to be brought to you from our friends at Truly, packed with flavor, with 30-plus flavors. There's something for everyone, including 5 flavors of Truly Lemonade Hard Seltzer, 5 Truly Iced Tea Hard Seltzer, 4 Truly Punch Hard Seltzer, 2 Truly Extra Hard Seltzers, with 8% alcohol ABV. My favorite flavor of all time is wild berry, always has been. But dude, I love. They also got this new margarita one that's come out. Have you guys tried the margarita Truly yet?
I have not.
Oh yeah.
I actually had one when we were playing our match the other day versus
Robbie Berger.
Dumb Goose. Exactly. It was great.
Oh, they're fantastic. So truly, it just continues to deliver. They've been big supporters of the Barstool Classic since its inception 4 years ago. All cans have under 110 calories, means plenty of refreshing flavors that will not weigh you down. Low sugar, every Truly contains only 1 gram of sugar. It tastes not artificial, okay? We like to keep it real. That's essentially what we're doing. That's why we use no artificial flavors or sweeteners over at Truly. You do it for the flavor. They're just the best. They're delicious. Find Truly Hard Seltzer near you at trulyhardseltzer.com. Again, go find it near you, trulyhardseltzer.com. My favorite is the wild berry, but you got to try the new ones. You have to try the new margarita flavors if you have not. Fat Perez, our boy, who I think is going to come play golf with me this weekend, he was like where the fuck did this Truly flavor come from? I was like, oh, yeah, it's one of their new margarita ones. He's like, I could drink these all day. And then he did drink them all day and played some great golf. So trulyhardseltzer.com. Go find yourself some Truly. Ryan, our first one, says, and again, you can email us at foreplay@barstoolsport.com. Title it from the gallery. I will read it. If it's good, we will talk about it on a show in the future. Do you think Tiger has hit more balls with his putter than you guys have hit with every single club in your bag in a lifetime?
Yep.
Definitely.
100%.
Absolutely. I think it's not even close.
I mean, remember when Immelman told us that he would just hit his putter for 3 days in a row? He would just putt for 3 days like that.
That right there might be more than we've ever hit in our lives of every other club combined. And
he's been playing, he's been playing since he was 2. And he's been putting since he was 2.
True.
And he's 45 now. We're talking decades upon decades. Like, it's not like there was never a break in Tiger Woods' life where he wasn't putting. So that's 40 years plus straight of putting.
That's just so much putting.
Yeah.
Like, he putts way more than he hits golf balls.
He also dented that putter, made a mark in it. So it's like that's more than
I was trying to think, I don't even know that we've putt in our lifetime more than he's hit a driver.
Right, which is the least. Like whatever he's done least, I bet we haven't done that
the most.
Right. Well, it's probably like a 6-iron or something like that. You know what I mean? Because some rounds you just don't even hit like an iron.
Do you think you've putt more balls than he's hit drives?
Drives, I think, was probably second most. I would say, or maybe like third after a wedge or something like that. But I would say, like a random iron would be his least hit club because like sometimes you
like
just
a
never.
6-iron?
Right, exactly. So I still think he's hit. But I'm thinking way more of those.
I think all like practice just
totally.
Practice is where he logs all this, right? And I think he probably hits putter the most, and then he probably hits wedge or drive. I bet his like 60-degree, just like hitting it around the greens, and then like his driver, right?
Definitely.
Yeah, I think. I mean, also in his he was hitting all like 9 shots that would always like amaze people in terms of hitting the different windows with every sort of club. So. If you could
do that, Lurch, in your warm-up session?
Yeah, exactly. I can't make the ball go right. It's like I can snap it left with the best of them, but I can't. That thing's not going to go to the right side of the golf course. He's hit a billion more shots. Like, what is it, 4 or 5 times more, 10 times? What do you like?
I'd love to know how many hours we've spent practicing. Like, I would love to know if I saw, like, if every time I actually practiced the game of golf, my whole life, if there was a clock that was just constantly counting up, what it would go to. And I'm trying to think, like, I don't know that I would surpass, like, a day. Like, you think I've logged more than 24 hours worth of, like, pure practice?
I know I haven't. No way.
In my life?
Are you talking
about...
Yeah,
you probably had more than a day, but... Because that's, like, take a range session that you just go do. How long does that last? Like, an hour?
Right, or like prior to going out for a round. Yeah. Like, do you count that as practice? Then I've been over a day for sure. But if you're talking about like going to a range to practice and then going home, 2 hours, 3.5. You know,
dude, I don't do it I don't do it.
And those guys do it every day for like 8 hours a day.
It's the 10,000 hour thing where like you can't say that you've like really mastered something until you practice something for 10,000 hours. Like, I was just trying to think of that, and like if let's say I'm legitimately at half a month of just practice my whole life. I've logged however many hours that is of just hitting golf balls, not on a golf course, whatever that math is.
360 hours.
360 hours, 400 hours. That seems about right. Of like my whole life since I was born, I've put about 400 hours in. These guys have done 10,000 minimum, maybe with each club. Like it's psychotic how they're so dedicated. And that's like, that goes back to what I had that conversation with Brock about like becoming a professional athlete, like what separates them. It's like finding that zone where it's just, you're just practicing because you know you've got that extra edge on people and like you're just doubling down on it essentially. You're just fucking, you know, you're right there. Imagine having that feeling of being like, if I just put a little more work into this, I'm there.
Also,
I win.
If you bake down a round of golf in terms of, okay, you played for 4 hours, you took only 90 shots. Each one of those shots, takes you 5 seconds? you're only actually like practicing golf for, what's that, 450 seconds, which is 7 or 8 minutes. It's like you're literally 7.5 minutes. So it's like you're literally not even playing golf. Like, you know what I mean? In terms of your practice points, like, I was out there for 4 hours. I took 90 swings. Each swing took me 5. I played 7 minutes of golf today.
Right, because if you play 60 minutes of a hockey game, at least when you're on defense, you're not touching the puck. You're still playing the game. You're still blocking someone. You're still taking up a passing zone. You're doing the game. Even if you're on the bench, you're like a part of a line change. So at all moments, you're in the game. In golf, half the time you're sitting in a cart or you're walking up and watching someone else do something that has no effect on your game. You might be only playing the game of golf for 10 minutes.
Right.
When you go golfing... When you go golfing, the thing you do the least is golf.
But I guess like then that to go back to our Dr. Jim Aframo and like the mental aspect would be like the best players are playing the entire time. Like they're locked in mentally the entire time. So it's
that's
like
where we differ.
Yeah,
you're actually physically swinging for like you're participating in the actual physical activity for less than 10 minutes.
But you could argue that about like baseball. Like baseball, you're probably physically playing baseball for
no. But if I'm just in
how
right
long?
field, if I'm in right field, I'm still in the game. Something at any moment can happen.
But I would say, but you can't because like you're by this theory, you would only really count it during the pitch and then whatever happens after the pitch. Like in between pitches is no different than in between golf shots. You're just like standing
still
out
significantly more though.
I would still think that's more. Like that's more. Every time there's a pitch, there's a 2 or 3 second. I'm in the game every pitch because you got to get on your toes, be ready for a quick hit. So
then when you're on offense, you're just like
totally.
most of the time
you
you're doing
could
nothing.
totally argue you're just sitting there, and I would say that's definitely true. I would probably break it down to more. I guess no. If you're a pitcher, then you're really kind of like a golfer because every game that you're not part of, you're just literally sitting there like when they were making fun of the Red Sox having like Popeyes chicken sandwiches and hanging out. And then you pitch, and so you make, 100 throws. Each throw takes you 3 seconds. Out of a whole game, you're talking about 300 seconds of actually performing.
Dude, we got Johnny Hekker on this show. Think about in football games, how many minutes is he actually playing football in a given game? For like 30 seconds? Like, what is he?
Right. Yeah, because you'd have to say as soon as he punted, he's part of the game. Because if you were talking about just like one swift kick, they kick like 4 or 5 times. He's literally, it's like 4.5 to 7 seconds of action.
Like, even if you count the whole play, if each play is 10 minutes, I mean, how many times does he punt in a game? 4 or something? Yeah. So he's like, he gets paid
like a lot even.
Yeah, so he's making $18.8 million over like 5 years, and he plays for 30 seconds a game.
Right. Pretty awesome.
Pretty fucking good, man.
It's awesome. It's so great. And again, we get into it with him about how much more goes into it, obviously. But like when you think about it that way, it's amazing. I mean, that's like when they boil down, how many A-Rod, like how much money was he making per at
home
bat?
run,
Like that's
right.
not. Yeah, there's really that's not a real fair way to do it, but like.
But we're just talking about people in the game because I've seen that too with like DJ. He won, XYZ tournament. And I saw that they posted like every swing that DJ made, he made like $58,000 this week. And you could do that with Cam Smith. Like his total shots are around 268 or whatever the case may be. Divide 3.6 million by that number and you're going to get to a preposterous shot or dollar value. But like, yeah,
which is really a dumb way to do it because like it's in reality it's like the Picasso story of when he's doodling on a fucking napkin in a diner and then he goes to just throw it away and the lady comes up and is like, oh my God, I would love to have that if you're gonna throw it away. And he's like, yeah, it would cost you $50,000. And she's like, what do you mean it's gonna cost you $50,000? It took you 5 seconds to do it. And he goes, no, it took me a lifetime. So it's the same like story of like, no, that's not really, they're not getting paid X amount per shot because each shot they hit in tournament play is probably 1,000 shots that they hit on the range. So it's like, it's a hard way to look at it. But yeah, when you play a round of golf, you legit are maybe active for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's great.
Jesus.
Pathetic to think of. Yeah, it's great, he says. Kevin says, what's up, boys? Got a player sponsor question. After watching the championship this weekend, I'd love to know if you guys have any insight into how and why the top The non-top tier guys get these insanely random B2B, business-to-business sponsor logos on their gear. Do these cloud AI freight forwarding CRM companies get any value out of the actual airtime? Feels like literally any consumer brand would be a much better bet. I think we've all thought about this before. I mean, you see somebody out there with some random, like consulting or cloud fucking service company that works like on somebody's. I would guess a lot of it goes to hospitality and the fact that like there's probably people in their executive team that like love golf and think it'd be really cool to have a Xander Schauffele or somebody else, and yeah, they think they could get a little bit of some advertising out of it. I mean, I would say advertising in general seems pretty stupid to me, right? I mean, I think about that when I watch a hockey game. There's just like McDonald's is on the fucking boards and all this, and you're just like, do they really get anything out of just having the golden arches on the fucking boards in a hockey game?
I've thought about that as well, but it has to work, right? Like there's people who are very, very smart in this world who are in advertising, who make a lot of money doing advertising, who do all that stuff, and they wouldn't, like, the world would even out if it didn't work. But it works because for whatever reason, if you put a McDonald's billboard in front of enough people enough times, enough people are going to say, man, I want McDonald's. And then it's going to work and they're going to go spend money at McDonald's. Like, McDonald's knows that. All the companies that advertise know that to a certain degree the advertising has to work. Otherwise, they would cut it out of their budget, because I would argue for the most part, a lot of companies, advertising is like their biggest budget. So it has to work. If it didn't work, they wouldn't spend all that money. But I know what you mean. It seems strange. When you're driving down the street, you see a billboard or watching a hockey game, you're like, I'm not one of those guys who's now craving McDonald's because I'm watching this hockey game. But there are people out there who are, either consciously or subconsciously.
I think it's subconscious. Also, like listening to a podcast and like hearing what they have to say. Like this podcast.
Our advertisers.
But yeah, that's what I would say.
It has to work.
It obviously works.
It works.
I would hope it works. I do think it's subconscious though. I think for sure. Like, dude, the other day there was some like raccoon or squirrel that got like petrified, either shocked or frozen. And it was like a viral video of this fucking squirrel on top of some dude's car, just completely dead. But it was holding a McDonald's wrapper and burger as it was dead. I don't know if you guys saw this. And the sick fuck that I am, like, as I'm watching that video, I'm like scrolling, like, oh, what the fuck's this about? I saw the yellow wrapper and I instantly wanted McDonald's and I ordered it.
Yeah.
So I saw some dead squirrel holding a McDonald's wrapper. And then no less than 25 minutes later, I was eating a burger. So talk about that. Like, that's just the coloring. It all goes into play. Like, you just know exactly what the wrapper is. And it's fucking amazing how deep it actually is. It's scary.
I'm with you. I would argue most of it is subconscious. Like, totally. I was just saying that, like, yeah, there's been times where I'll see a billboard and I'll think like, oh, that didn't make me want whatever product that was. But then there's countless times where I was just watching TV and a commercial would go by for a fast food joint or whatever. And then half hour later, I order that food and I don't even remember the commercial. Yeah. That stuff I bet happens all the time.
You hear the Taco Bell ding, you're like, oh, fuck.
Here I go.
Pavlovian.
Yeah, I think that, like, what is that even called, though? Just like noise marketing? Like, you talk about McDonald's on the wall of a hockey game. You know what I mean? It's like all of our thoughts are so fleeting, and from one thought to the next, it's like, all right, I just saw the McDonald's sign like 20,000 times today, so I'm just going to order McDonald's. There's got to be some sort of calculation.
It's not even that. To me, it's just like it becomes a thing that you just know. Like, it's just brand awareness.
Right,
like,
totally.
Like New Amsterdam Vodka, I thought did a fantastic job with that. And I was like thinking, when they became the official sponsor of the NHL and Barstool, Special Vodka Barstool, when New Amsterdam Vodka did that like a couple years ago, I remember thinking like, man, they must spend so much money to just be like the official vodka. But then like now 2 years later, they are just a vodka company that I know now. So if someone, a bartender or a store has New Amsterdam, I'm like, oh yeah, I know that one. As opposed to like any other one that I've known for years. Any of their competitors I've known for years, where I would usually just grab them at the bar or at a liquor store. Now New Amsterdam Vodka is in my rotation of things that I will either order or buy at a store. And it's amazing that how that works. Like
Totally.
there's a price to pay to just get into your brain.
Right.
And now it's in my brain forever.
So how many times do you have to see it, understand it to like order it? You know what I mean? There is some sort of probably marketing calculation out there that's like, all
Definitely.
right, McDonald's, we have 50,000 signs in New York City. If we go to 60,000 signs, do we see an increase in purchase? Because that means we're doing that much more reminder marketing to these people of just like throwing thoughts in their head of you just like walking down the street with your girlfriend and being like, not even thinking about it, but subconsciously you see McDonald's 50,000 times, 60,000 times. Do you buy it once more because you've seen it a little bit? You know what I mean? It's like that.
There's someone that gets paid a lot of money to try and do that math, and if it doesn't work, they probably get fired. But like also just the more you hear about something, the more you do something. I never knew animals existed ever in my entire life, and now I play it when I'm golfing because
100%.
Yeah.
Riggs talked about this company that I never heard of. So it's like Animals looked at their brand and was like, how do we get more people to see our awesome app? And then they came to Foreplay. We tell people about their awesome app, and now everyone uses their app. Like now, like I literally was like a customer of listening to the ad and doing it. Same thing with fucking Oars and Alps. Remember? I mean, come on, that was insane. And and Wood now with Barstool. Like we never knew that any of this stuff would ever exist until bang, someone tells you about it, and now it's something that's in your brain. You have to be told about it, and that costs money, and that costs like that.
Right.
It's just the way the world works. It's fucking interesting, but it works.
I mean, it'd be crazy if I didn't do an ad read right now. So we're going to talk about TaylorMade, which TaylorMade, if there's a better example of what we're talking about right now,
that sells itself.
See these things in action. You see the stealth. You see the P770s, P790s, the TaylorMade Spider putter. I use the Spider X, the TP5, TP5X, their Tour Response balls, like all kinds of new stuff coming out. If this isn't a great company and this company does not convince you to use the stuff because Rory uses it, DJ uses it, Morikawa uses it, Tiger Woods uses it, Foreplay Golf uses it, then you're just not paying attention. Advertising works. These guys don't even need to advertise. That's how good their stuff is. Do yourself a favor. Go over to TaylorMadeGolf.com/Barstool. Check out TaylorMade and Barstool Golf gear. We get all kinds of good stuff on there. We're going to be doing a lot more customization type stuff this year too, so people keep your eyes and ears, on the alert, acute, one might say, for that. For those drops and everything that's going to be going on with that. But TaylorMade does it right. The new stealth driver is taking the entire golf world by storm. There are so many guys and gals using it who aren't even contracted by TaylorMade. Scotty Scheffler just joined TaylorMade. He was using their stuff, winning a couple golf tournaments, huge golf tournaments, playing some of the best golf in his life. He had a chance to get to number one in the world, I believe, this last week. If he would have won, he's TaylorMade athlete now officially. So join it. Be a part of it. TaylorMade Golf. They're the best. TaylorMadeGolf.com/Barstool. If you're using some other equipment, then you're just signing yourself up for worse scores. It seems nuts to me. So a big thanks to TaylorMade. Getting a couple announcements live. So I just got an email from LIV Golf International Series set to launch. This is, of course, the Super Golf League, the Saudi-backed league. Golf Invitational Series set to launch in June 2022 with new formats, teams, and more than $250 million in prize purses. There was an announcement yesterday that this was coming. Greg Norman sent apparently a letter to a few different players. The Fire Pit Collective guys over there, Matt Janella and crew, they released apparently an email that Rory had gotten from them. So I'm going to kind of go through in real time what this email says, and then I have to address, this show, we like to make people laugh and have a good time, but there's just a horrible story coming out of the Southwest University of Southwest golf teams. Both the men's and women's teams were involved in a horrible crash. I'm seeing the last thing that I saw was apparently 9 people were killed, including the coach. Just like an awful story, and clearly the whole golf world is like breaking as we're talking about this. And like I said, I understand people come here to laugh and we like to make jokes, but there's a real life out there. People have families and friends that they love. So we're going to tweet out and put on Instagram any links that we could find once things start to materialize and how you can help the families and friends and try to raise money, obviously, to make this time a little easier for those families. And this is all kind of happening in real time. So just horrible news. I hope that obviously anyone who's still fighting for their lives, thoughts and prayers to them and to the families. And like I said, follow our accounts the next couple of days. Hopefully we can get some traction on raising money and helping out those families, but just a horrible story out of there. We've gotten a lot closer into college golf the last couple of years with the LTP. So just awful, and hug your loved ones, and please keep a lookout for some links. We'll tweet out anything that we can find to try to help all those families. All right. Again, this is our program. People understand that, we're not here for, that's just not necessarily what we do. So we're going to try to help as much as we can. We're going to move on, try to keep doing the show. Okay. So we've got this latest from Greg Norman, this letter, the things that are going on. They're trying to launch this league. That's what they're doing. And it looks like they're going to have tournaments. It says the LIV Golf Invitational 2022 schedule will visit the following dates and locations. June 9th through 11th. Tillery Golf Club in London, July 1 through 3, Pumpkin Ridge Golf Club in Portland, July 29 through 31, Trump National Golf Club, Bedminster, September 2nd through the 4th, the International in Boston. I think that's the one with like the 800-yard par 5 or like the longest par 5 in the world. September 16th through 18th, Rich Farm, Chicago. October, they got Stonehill, Bangkok. Later in October, they got Royal Greens Golf Club in Jeddah. And then October 28th through the 30th, there's a team championship. It says LIV Golf Invest is providing more than $400 million in seed money to launch the series, which will be building blocks of next generation golf experience. I do not see anything in here, just scrolling through, about any specific players. It says Team Golf has proven its ability to provide many of the game's most exciting moments and is at the heart of the new structure. In year one, there will be a max of 48 players on 12 four-man teams and a truly global field with golfers invited from all tours around the world. So look, last week we basically declared this thing dead. Jay Monahan took a victory lap. It sounds like they're not going down without a fight, and they have just announced that they're going to have events. I don't know who the fuck's going to play in these events, but it's announced that they're going to have events.
That's the big question. Who's playing in these? Like, I thought we would have, and we still might, one or two notable PGA Tour players that would go, just because the money was too big and they're not in the position of the guys that we've talked about, the Rorys, the Spieths, the JTs, all those guys. But so I thought there would be a couple who might do it, and then I was going to be very curious to see who those were. But we still haven't heard any of those names or any names whatsoever. We now just have a full schedule of events for this golf league, but we don't know who the golfers are, and that's got to be a weird spot for the people who are running the league, and they got to be scrambling because who's going to play?
Yeah, I mean, so they kind of changed the way that their wording is now. Like their promise to these players is now that they'll be able to stay in the tours that they already are in. So this is going to be a complimentary tour with the schedule they already have. So it's just extra events now, which I didn't really see to begin with, right? Like when they were talking about guys like DJ and fucking Brooks and all these guys and Bryson going over, it's like, well, they're never going to play on the tour again. Now Greg Norman has kind of changed it and shifted it to like, you can play on the tour. These are just added events to your already busy schedules.
But
no,
is that his
that was
call
originally right? That was originally, that's kind of what Greg Norman's stance has been the entire time. It was him offering or saying basically that Jay Monahan of the PGA Tour should be sued if they say that anyone who plays on the Saudi Tour will be banned from the PGA Tour, because essentially Norman and company knew all along that like if anyone's going to agree to play on our tour, they're still going to want to play in the PGA Tour as well. This is just going to be like a supplementary, awesome other thing, and people can pick and choose if they're playing PGA Tour this week or Saudi Tour this week or European Tour this week or whatever. So I think that's sort of always been his vision, but you're right. And that like, I think he knew players were going to get banned. They were not going to be allowed to just do both all the time. And if it could be a complimentary thing, I think his point is like, why wouldn't players just entertain this? It's bonus. It's on top. It's in the fall. In the fall series, the PGA Tour players bitch about a lot anyways, that they need a break or they need bigger events or otherwise they don't see that it's worth it and yada, yada, yada. So now if they can do this, I mean, it says these numbers that they're throwing around in terms of the purses. It says the total prize purse for the 8 events will reach an unprecedented $255 million. The first, Dr. Evil. First 7 regular season events will carry a total purse of $25 million, comprised of $20 million in individual prizes. All players in the field earn a share, and $5 million for the top 3 teams. Following the first 7 events, an individual champion will be crowned, offering a total purse of $30 million for the top 3 individuals of the season. The season-ending 8th event will be a team championship that will provide $50 million in total prize funds. It's a lot of money. They're just throwing a lot of money around, it sounds like.
Just sounds like a ton of money. I still don't think it's going to work.
Whether we just didn't talk about it or it's just everyone's been glancing over it, we definitely never touched on the fact that like he actively wanted to have this be a tour where you could do both. Like we were always just saying, and I know that like Monahan was saying like they're going to be banned if they play in any other tour, which is insane, but like you could tell that in this statement to the players that Norman is definitely like doubling down on like, I mean, at one point he literally says like, you all should know this. Our schedule has always been designed in deference to the majors and the Heritage Championships. LIV Golf has been consistent in its desire to complement the annual tour schedules and wider global golf ecosystems. Like that's like, he's painting a picture now that's completely different than me as just the average viewer on Twitter and like trying to see what's going on in this scenario. Like I've never really seen that type of talk, right? Where it's like he literally is saying like word for word telling the players that he thinks that there's no reason why you shouldn't be able. This is in addition to, not in place of your current tour schedule. He's actually like putting it out there word for word of like, why can't you do this? As opposed to before, it was like, come over here. We're going to give you less money. Yeah, you're going to lose all of the heritage stuff, all of the history, all the historical events. You're going to lose your reputation, but we're going to give you so much money. That was always our debate on this podcast. This seems
But I think that was a reaction. That was a reaction to like what Monahan had allegedly said, which is that people would be banned. So like in Monahan's interviews last week, they kept pressing him on like, will players be banned that play? So it's like, Norman never wanted that. I think everyone, the public conversation was just kind of reacting to like this belief that the tour was going to ban them. Whereas Norman's stance has been like, how can you stop players from just playing wherever they want to play? If they want to play on PGA Tour half the year and then they want to play in your event half the year, like how can you just not let people play wherever they want to play? Has kind of been his stance the whole time.
Right, because they could play in the European Tour whenever they want to, right?
Right. So it's like, why would you not? Or they can go play in the Asian Tour. They can go play in they could kind of play really wherever they want. Now, there is like bylines in their, membership agreement with the PGA Tour, which provides all kinds of stuff for them that the tour, I believe, has to like sign off on certain places that they play. But again, I think Norman's point has kind of been like, why the fuck can't people that play golf just play golf wherever they want to play golf this weekend? Like,
Yeah, he's being very straightforward too. He goes, you should know that we are launching and we will continue to drive this forward. We will not stop. I mean, they're getting a little dramatic.
That's like what a villain says.
Yeah, it's very villainous.
That was.
We're talking about a golf tournament here.
At the end of the day, it's what it always comes down to. We're always just like, what are we actually talking about here? We're talking about golf tournaments.
I mean, that sounds like a president talking about like engaging in war. He's like, we will continue to move forward. We will not stop. What are you talking about, Greg Norman?
Man.
My computer's about to die, so I'm going to try to plug this puppy in. First, I'll give you guys another from the gallery real quick. This guy says, Ryan says, once they retire, who will have a better career, Jordan Spieth or Jon Rahm? Ooh. Spieth's got 3 majors, and he's got, like 13 wins or something?
Yeah.
Who will have a better career when they retire?
Jordan Spieth.
Wow.
It's just hard to win
Jon
majors.
Rahm.
It's just so hard to win majors.
Yeah, but Jon Rahm he can win them.
I know, but he just...
Like, we're also, like, let me ask you this.
And Spieth could also win more. It's not like Spieth
That's what I was just going to ask you. Do you think Spieth wins more? Because it is hard to win majors.
It's hard to win.
I think it's Jordan Spieth, even though I think Jon Rahm's by far the best player on tour. Like, looking at their age, they're basically the same age. So it's crazy to say that Spieth can't just continue to play well and turn it on and just win also. It's not like Spieth, his career has passed him by and he's 38 years old and he's like, all right, like Rahm has to kind of pass him and catch him. They're 28 and 27. Spieth just has like a leg up on him.
It is crazy how young Spieth is. You think Spieth's been around forever, which because he has, but like I was just thinking that too. I was like, Spieth's got like 5 years on him. I mean, they're the same age.
That stunned me. I'll be honest. That I thought Rahm was much younger than Spieth.
I mean, you're 5 years older than Jordan Spieth.
All right. No, I know. But I didn't know. I didn't realize Rahm's 27.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought he was a little bit younger than that.
I'm gonna say I'm gonna go with the majors in the hole. I mean, you got 3 in the pocket already. I think that's just hard to. I don't know that I'm gonna be right clearly, but I think you just got to take and Spieth's perfect proof of that. Like Spieth fell off a cliff for a couple years. That could happen to anybody. It could happen to John Rahm. That could happen to literally anybody. So somebody who's got 3 majors and what's Spieth have, like 13 wins or something?
I'm not sure about that. Why you look that up, but the thing that like drives me to Rahm is he said he's not going to. I think he said recently he's not going to stop playing until he has more majors than Tiger or something.
I think somebody said that for. I think that was I think somebody said that about him, and I think he had said that to that person.
Okay, but either way, like that floating quote out there, I'm like, all right, I respect that. Even though I'm sure it's within like Spieth too in terms of that drive to be the best, but. That does float and give them a few.
He's got to start
points.
Winning some.
He needs one before we start talking.
Now.
Yeah.
Right, because that was going to be my next question. Do you guys think Spieth has to add to his total to outrun Rahm?
Oh yeah,
okay.
I could see Rahm finishing, and it's crazy to say because he hasn't done it yet, but like, I can see him finishing with like 6. That's like that's a dominating career.
Damn.
He's a dominating golfer. But I also think Spieth is going to get hot, man. Spieth is, I do. He's like sort of proved me wrong, or he's done what I needed him to do to say that he's just back to playing Jordan Spieth golf, and he's just like hung around and been in contention, and he's just back to like we've leveled out. We were like way high, way low, and like I was saying, he can't be this cocky. He was looking at people in the crowd when he was making putts his first tournament back. It's like I was like, you got to fucking wait. All right, we've leveled out now. He hasn't won, but like we've leveled out.
Right. Like he's got so many years to just. It sounds crazy when you're talking about majors, but just like clip 2 more. Have 2 more. Have 2 more, and you got 5, and that's a motherfucker of a number to try to get to.
And that also takes away from Rahm. So like if he wins another 2, it's just.
Would it surprise you if Jordan Spieth won a major?
No.
Right. I think he's going to do that for the next 10 years.
All right, boys. I apologize. I got to drop. I'm on the Spieth side. See you, fellas.
Bye-bye.
See you, Lurch. Goodbye, Lurch. He's always so awkward when he drops.
So awkward.
He always apologizes.
I'm taking Rahm in this just because he just that quote that Lurch was talking about, and I'm probably a prisoner of the moment. Rahm is so good and has clearly been the best player in the world for a long time now that he's just going to start winning a bunch of them. And I really do think that's going to happen. And I love Spieth. We all do, but I have less confidence in him to rattle off a couple more than I do in John Rahm.
There's just way too many good golfers, I think, to have someone say that they're going to break Tiger's record, especially a John Rahm. I can't envision John Rahm dominating the majors as much as Tiger did, obviously, because Tiger's the best of all time, but you're basically then saying he's beating Morikawa and Justin Thomas and Jordan Spieth and Rory McIlroy. There's so many guys at any given moment that I think could win. John Rahm is the best golfer out of the group right now, but I just can't see someone rattling off that many because any given major, there are so many people that could genuinely just dominate that fucking field. And so many people.
How many majors did Tiger have right now at the same age that Rahm is right now? How old's Rahm?
27.
Rahm is 27. God, Tiger probably had 8 or something.
Right. You're off the pace. Everybody's off the pace, but you're the one who may have said that. The guy said that quote. So it's like, if you're going to say that, people are going to start matching up dates, and you're just behind the pace like everybody else.
Tiger disappeared for 10 years. So if Rahm just, stays.
Yeah, but
level.
We don't talk about that, Frank.
I know. I'm just saying he fell off the pace, but in the 30s, he's going to get that pace back if he plays a little golf.
But you got to collect a bunch in your 20s.
Yeah, you do.
You're going to want to have a few in your 20s.
A few in your 20s. He doesn't have to collect a bunch because Tiger didn't get any in his 30s.
I saw, so Spieth has 12 wins in 3 majors. He's 28, I believe. And Rahm has 6 wins in 1 major, and he is 27. But Rahm's number 1 ranked player in the world. Spieth is obviously, who knows with Spieth. I mean, he's definitely made a bit of a comeback in the last year and a half. He won a tournament last year, but I don't think he's as much of a lock right now as Rahm to keep winning going forward. I'm going to go Spieth. I just think that those tournaments that are in the hole, those that you got locked up, you put them in your pocket, I think those are that gives them such a huge head start. Okay.
Feels like a race to
Valspar.
5. Oh, Valspar.
We have Valspar this weekend. Always love the Valspar. Cool tournament. They got the in the Copperhead course. We're actually playing the Barstool Classic at the Copperhead course in like a week and 2 weeks. So we'll be there shortly after this tournament. So I'm obviously excited to see it. Yeah, it's a preview. It's kind of a preview for the Barstool Classic Florida stop. And it always delivers in terms of being a very difficult, pretty damn difficult course. I feel like Paul Casey wins there all the time. Tiger Woods, when he made his comeback in 2018, remember he almost won there, and we were all like, holy shit, the guy just started basically just got off the bed from his back surgery, and he almost won a golf tournament against Paul Casey. He made that huge putt on the 17th hole. So the Valspar Championship this week, and then we go match play, and then we pretty much are getting hyped up for those following 2 weeks for Augusta National. So it's getting pretty damn close. We've got Johnny Hekker, Super Bowl champ, coming up next. Anybody have anything else before we throw it to the first punter we've ever had on the show?
I don't think so. I don't think I have anything. Frank, you got any more grievances? Well,
just Macy's Furniture Store. I need a phone call. Fucking First Tee. I need a phone call. Are we teasing people about where we're gonna be for Masters Week, or is that too early?
No, we teased it because Big Cat got it out of me yesterday when I was in the office. We're doing we're being Chicago. We're doing Thursday, Friday. We're gonna be at the Chicago office with the boys up there. Love that crew. They're hilarious. Love dog walk. Hopefully we can get on dog walk. Maybe we'll do a draft. I know last year I did a golf related draft with those guys. And then Saturday, Sunday, we're going to be doing live streams and a hangout at the River North Barstool Bar, which I've never been to before. Have you guys been to the bar yet?
no.
Never. It's going to be an
I'm
absolute
pumped.
scene. We've got
Yes, it
a
is.
merch pop-up shop where in the basement you're going to be able to get all of our new merch. We're going to be doing contests to get free merch. We're going to be watching it. We're going to be doing group bets on the Barstool app where like everyone's going to be on something. I can't wait to be like on the stage with a microphone being like, we're going to hit this fairway on the 12th hole on the 11th hole, and everyone's going to go fucking crazy when it hits. I'm very excited about that. It's going to be a great experience. There should be lines at the door because that bar is amazing. It's already lines at the door every weekend. So it's going to be a hell of a time. It'll be a nice crowd. So I'm really looking forward to that and seeing all the Chicago guys.
And it's just Masters Week. So Masters Week, going out, hanging with the Chicago guys, being in the office, being at that bar. I heard the bar's fucking awesome. Using the Barstool Sportsbook app. Those have been some of our most fun days we've had in the last couple of years, is those two Masters that we've gone to and doing the live bets. Like Frankie said, the fairways, the fucking greens of regulation. We had the Lowry tracker with Dave a couple of years ago and all that fucking chaos. So I'm sure we'll get into that. So yeah, a little teaser. Chicago will be there Thursday, Friday in the office, and then Saturday, Sunday we'll be at the bar. Masters Week, so I can't wait for that. Whoop, we got to talk about Whoop, monitoring your recovery, sleep training, and health with personalized recommendations and coaching feedback with Whoop, and the new Whoop 4.0. I've been rocking the Whoop 4.0. It's the world's most powerful personalized digital fitness and health coach and official fitness wearable of the PGA and LPGA tours. Whoop is worn by some of the world's best golfers like JT, Rory, Jessica Korda, and Nelly Korda, trained like some of the world's best golfers. Whoop's amazing. We've been rocking it for, it feels like, a few years now. I track my sleep religiously. Gives you that little notification when it tells you it's about time to start powering down and get to sleep, because it knows that consistent sleep is really important for your health. I love that. Or I'll be out at like a restaurant, you're having a drink, and you're like, I need to get the fuck out of here and get back to sleep, because I got to, if you go to bed around the same time, you wake up around the same time, that's so much more healthier. Your recovery is way better. Whoop's just awesome.
This thing has been invaluable to me even more so recently. Like I talked about a couple podcasts ago with the health stuff that I got going on. It's good to know that I'm getting good sleep, because for a while there I was not getting good sleep, and luckily I've been sleeping better. And this thing tells you, like, I wake up and it says you slept for 7.5 hours, and obviously my body knows that because it went through it. But then when you look at it as just a person with a brain, you're like, all right, That's the right amount of sleep that a person should be getting. 7.5 more, whatever you need. But it has been nice just having something tracking you where you're like, all right, my body is going through some of the right things. And it's got all the stuff, like not just the sleep, it's got the heart rate stuff. It's got the blood oxygen stuff. Like it really does. The 4.0 especially tracks a bunch of stuff. And it has been an invaluable tool for me the last couple months for sure.
I got all kinds of fucking data right here on my person, you know. I'm trying to get out of this fucking circle light I got here. But like you said, blood oxygen, okay, my respiratory rate 15.2 RPM, that's not bad. Blood oxygen 94%, probably, you know, could be a little better. Resting heart rate right now is 58 beats per minute. HRV is 47. I did wake up, I had a couple cocktails in New York yesterday before I flew out, so my recovery wasn't as high as I would like it to be. It was only at 36%, but the day before, 70, day before, 72, day before that, I was 96, so you're in the green, you're feeling really good.
Yep.
Changes everything, and you can get 15% off. You go to whoop.com, enter the code FORE, F-O-R-E, you save 15%. That's whoop.com, enter the code FORE, save 15% at checkout. Okay, we're going to throw it now to Johnny Hekker, Super Bowl champ, punter. I think he's maybe the best punter in the NFL. He's got a Super Bowl record for the longest punt, and he's just a really good dude who's really into golf and obviously the specialization that he does on the football field. So here's Johnny Hekker. Hit it hard.
Hit it hard.
Hit it hard.
So what's up? Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. Yeah, sorry for the runaround there. That was a bit of
that's how all of our intros are. I mean, we got we got a champ. We got a Super Bowl champ on the show right now. How's life been the last few months?
Life's good. Yeah, it was definitely a whirlwind that first week. Kind of a blur, you know, as they say. But yeah, things have calmed down. Back in Seattle now for the off season. Playing some great winter rules golf up here. Enjoying it. Life is good though.
Dude, Pacific Northwest golf is awesome. Frankie and I went up there a couple years ago and did a trip. It's just a completely different look in that part of the country.
It's a great spot. You know, I love it. I mean, all the courses have great features. And really, you can play any style of golf you want. The courses out here are so varied. And the good thing is grass grows really well up here because it's so wet. So it's nice.
Yeah, the trees to me were the things that took my breath away. I couldn't believe when you step up to a tee box and just like the vast amount of trees and how high they are and thin they are. Something I never really see, obviously, in the Northeast.
Yeah. Except for when you get a nice tree-lined fairway, then you're like really mad that you're seeing all these trees.
Yeah, exactly.
It is good.
There were some really pronounced tree-lined fairways up there. Are you guys Seattle area? Are you guys like huge Freddie Couples fans?
Big Freddie Couples fans. Yeah, I mean you have to be. So I'm actually, gonna be at the Masters in a couple weeks. So I gotta go root on our guy.
You been before?
I haven't. First time. So my wife. Funny story. My wife got me tickets for my 30th birthday. And then COVID hit. And then last year they were selective on who they gave tickets to. So this year I'm finally getting to cash in on my 3 years of having tickets.
Wow.
It is. I mean, we're all kind of wearing Masters stuff, you know, colors right now. We're clearly getting in the mood, but it is the coolest event I think all three of us have ever been to from a sporting standpoint. It's just they do everything so perfectly. You feel like it's a mix of like Disneyland and the 1950s, and everything should almost be black and white, but it's this beautiful, perfect green. You're gonna have yourself a great time.
Man, you can tell my smile is just pasted on my face because I'm so excited. There's just so much. Yeah, you build it up to be this amazing thing, and then everything I've heard from people is it's even better than that. So it's cool.
Just load up on egg sandwiches and pimento cheese sandwiches. Like I think I had 5 egg salad sandwiches and 2 pimento cheese sandwiches, and they were like was $10. Like the whole thing was like $10.
Those things are still showing, I think, to be honest with you.
Bulking season, yeah.
What days are you going?
We have tickets for Saturday, Sunday.
Wow.
Oh, just gonna have a full weekend at Augusta. I would say I'm jealous because we can't. I mean, we got to go 3 or 4 years ago for the first time, and it was incredibly cool. But we can't really go because you can't have a cell phone. Our whole job is a cell phone, so everybody's asking a lot. You know, with what you guys do, you're going to the Masters, and with what we do, I don't know that we'll ever really go again. I think just to go on a Saturday and a Sunday with no commitments, no cell phone, nobody to have to talk to, and you can just have some beers and some pimento cheese and enjoy the golf. I don't think you can have a better sporting experience than that.
Yeah. I'm very excited. Yeah, I've only been to 2 other professional golf events. One was the Waste Management Open, the same year when the Super Bowl was there. It was kind of like a crazy sports weekend. That was pretty amazing. And then went to the the U.S. Open down in Chambers Bay a few years ago. So it's been I love. There's nothing like watching golf events live and just getting to follow around your favorite golfers. Because I mean, as impressive as their shots look on TV, you watch them in person, you're just blown away with consistency and just ball striking. It is so sweet.
Yeah, the driving range is one of the coolest spots to go and watch them actually just consistently every 30 seconds hit one exactly where they're aiming with the perfect trajectory. You just, as a person who's played normal weekend golf your whole life with all your normal weekend golf buddies, and then watching someone actually do that on purpose, it's fucking amazing.
Yeah. We watched Rory hitting out of a bunker at Chambers Bay for like 20 minutes. Just an absolute clinic. I was like, I was so blown away. I felt so bad about my own game. It was amazing, kind of mix of emotions to have. But I was awesome.
How is your own game? Obviously, you're elite with the feet. You know, You're one of the all-time punters. But I would love to know how's the hand-eye coordination with the actually swinging the club.
Yeah, it's decent. You know, people always say, well, you know, you're a specialist in the NFL. You should be really good. I'm not that great. You know, there are a lot of holes in my game that have yet to be closed up. You know, I'm waiting for my Bubba Watson breakthrough without just going out there and like not getting any lessons, just kind of raw dogging it. But it's there are some things I really need to fix. I got a nice little snap hook going. So we're figuring things out. I'm just a little handsy, but I think, you know, I'm handicapped like anywhere between like a 12 and 14. So I mean, decent, but I'm not threatening any course records yet.
Yeah.
Do you get down to Chambers Bay? You played down there?
I do. Yeah, I played down there a few times. My brother actually lives just probably 2 miles away from the course. So that's kind of his home track when we ever get together and play. He likes to play Chambers. So it's a great place to play. It's hard if you're going to, you have to walk it. So it's, you know, if it's a nice hot day here in the Pacific Northwest, you're going to be feeling it the next day for sure.
Yeah, that place can beat you up too. Just tee to green. There's bunkers everywhere. You got crazy runoffs and slopes, but it is gorgeous. One of the most gorgeous courses I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, those fairway bunkers are absolute murder. So it is, and you have like a long par 5, and it's just nothing but bunkers up the full right side. You know, it's a slicer's nightmare, but it's great. You just got to take your medicine and get out of them.
You play golf in season, or does it mess with you at all? Does it mess with your technique?
I like to a few times. I mean, I'm definitely not an every week guy get out there, but I mean, every couple of weeks I like to get out there. There's a few courses up near our facility that are really nice and well maintained. So it's good to get out there. I'm not playing multiple rounds for sure, but 1 round a week, just make sure I'm stretching out good before and after. And I really like it. I think it's a good way to just kind of get away from the madness of everything, put the phone down for a few hours and just, you know, go get some me time. I usually play by myself, so I'll get paired with some random people. You get to meet some people and network. It's a good deal.
Imagine they get paired with you. They're like, you do what? You're like, what the hell do you get? Like one of the best punters in the world? How does that go usually?
Yeah, it's usually like hole 5 or 6. You know, I usually try not to bring it up, and then, you know, you talk about, okay, how you guys live around here, or okay, how long have you been living here? And then it gets to I'm with the Rams. Like, oh, what do you do with the Rams? Like, I'm a player. Then, we're like, wait, hold on, what's your name again? And then, oh yeah, I knew it was you. Probably not, but no,
I knew it was you.
Yeah, it is. It's a fun thing to have, and I mean, then as soon as that cat's out of the bag, it's just nothing but football questions for the rest of the round.
Yeah, so, true. You're probably trying to hide it a little bit. You probably just want to talk golf.
Yeah, I just probably want to just scream at myself for how bad I'm playing usually, but no, it's talk golf, talk whatever. I mean, I'm an open book out there. It's fun I like to learn about the other people too, ask them cool questions, and try not to feel like I'm just monopolizing the conversation.
Yeah, because once they find out you're just dominating that foursome when it comes to conversational stuff, they just probably want to pivot back to you the whole time.
Yeah. So what's Aaron Donald really like? Is he really that strong? Oh my God, is Jalen Ramsey, does he trash talk you in the locker room? Yeah, there's so much stuff that people want to know about, but it is fun. I mean, golf is a great sport in that, you know, you can go out there and get paired with anybody. I've been paired with 3 women before, and you just go out there and have fun. Everyone does their best, and you encourage each other for good shots, and try not to get in each other's heads, trying to help each other out. But it's great, man. I love golf. There's so many beautiful things about the sport, and my wife is an absolute trooper for letting me go. We have 2 young kids, so that's kind of cut into my game development overall. But I'm still having a great time, and she allows me to get out a few times a month, so I'm really thankful.
Yeah, the kids and wife, and obviously winning Super Bowls, that's all going to affect the handicap. I think, you don't have as much time to practice this game as most people. So I think a 12 to 14 is pretty respectable when you look at your schedule.
Yeah, a few points each. And living in the Northwest, don't really get a lot of chances to get out in beautiful weather and practice under ideal conditions. But, I got a good group of friends up here. I grew up in this area, so all my high school buddies are still up here, so we get out when we can. And virtual golf is a decent thing up here, and there's a few kind of bars that have virtual golf stands and stalls. So not sure if, every time you hit a ball virtually, you're like, well, the sensor's off. So it's never your fault. It's always the sensors.
That's why you got to try these new full swing monitors. I don't know if you ever hit in one of those things. The ball actually, you could actually bend the ball left and right. You can fade it. You can draw it. It's absolutely phenomenal. I've honestly never seen anything like it. We hit one when we were out in California at their headquarters. Uh-huh. I mean, Tiger Woods uses one, so that's how you know it's good. But you can actually, I hit one way left. And on most monitors, it won't even generate that left. Most monitors, it starts off the middle. So even if you hit it in the left, the line will still start from the middle of the screen. This one, I shanked one, and it just went way off the left, and you heard the crowd go, whoa. You actually heard chaos. So I always used to believe that you really can't tell if you're hitting a good shot or a bad shot. But once I hit a full swing, it was pretty eye-opening of what these sensors and monitors can start doing now. I think virtual golf's going to get so good. It's crazy.
Yeah. I love it. I'm all for it. I definitely have to try one of those things.
Yeah.
I'm always pushing my wife to try and get one in the house, but I'm not good enough, and I don't think we have the space. So
Yeah, the simulator action, I feel like, is taken over a lot of different places. A lot of the major cities have kind of a different simulator spots you can go, and it is great in the winter when you get shitty climates to be able to get out there and just swing. Just as a golfer, you just get so antsy for 6 weeks, 8 weeks, for months. You can't get outside and actually play. Just swinging and actually feeling a golf club hit a golf ball, you're like, oh hell yeah, even if you're inside.
Yeah, it is a irreplaceable feeling for sure. There's nothing. You can do all the drills you want and everything, but nothing like smacking one pure.
No.
Nothing like smacking one pure. Do you how's your acceptance of not being perfect on the golf course? Because, comparatively, you've been kicking footballs to near perfection for probably your whole life, for a very long time at the top level. Then you get out there in golf, and obviously it's imperfect for most of the time. How's your temp? Can you handle that? Do you get rattled? How do you handle it?
It's usually a few swings, and I find a way to fix it. But for the most part, you gotta, just like being a specialist, you have to be pretty mentally tough, and just every rep is just an individual occurrence. So you got to just go out there and treat it so. And I think golf is very much the same way, where you hit a ball, if it's good or bad, try not to let it affect the next swing. Of course, if it's good, you can be happy and kind of be loose and let the next one kind of fly a little bit. But I'm definitely not a big screamer, club thrower. I'll get mad at myself, really internalize it, but I don't. I'm not a big yeller. There was one time I was playing with my dad, and I might have been a freshman in high school. I was playing with his clubs. He had the Golden Bear specials from Costco, and I think I chunked a wedge or topped 3 in a row, something. And I threw one of his clubs. And he just grabbed me by the back of the neck and was like, don't you ever throw another person's clubs. If they're yours, you can throw them. Big learning lesson for me to not throw clubs, and just kind of keep it tight on the course.
What was your introduction to punting? How do you become a specialist? How do you know that's what it is for you?
Yeah, so I played soccer growing up, and went to my first year of football once my parents deemed I was big enough to play and was going to be somewhat safe. And they had kicking and punting tryouts, and I was just kind of naturally good at it. So from that moment on, from 6th grade on, I just was always the team's kicker and punter, and then played quarterback as well because I wanted to be a quarterback. And in high school, ended up playing kicker and punter and quarterback. Made a highlight tape and sent it out to schools. And my coach told me to put a few of my punts at the very end. I almost didn't do it, and then I ended up getting a call back from Oregon State University to come walk on and punt. And
that's
just dominating that football field, throwing, kicking.
Kicking is so interesting because what you said is true, where it's like you're just naturally good at it, and some guys just are really, really good at kicking a football. Like when I played football in high school, most guys are not good at kicking football, but if there's one guy who can, he just automatically becomes the kicker, the punter, and he does it all the time. And it's actually a very valuable weapon at that level because there's not a lot of people who are good at it. It's just interesting that every once in a while there'll be a guy who's really, really good at it, and it sounds like you were clearly one of those guys.
Yeah. It definitely was a bit of natural ability with growing up playing soccer and just kicking stuff. And then before practice every day, me and my head coach, we'd have like just a punt off. He'd work on. It was just natural. He wasn't trying to teach me any technique. It was just like, all right, let's see who can hit the most spirals. And we just take 10 punts, and then we'd warm up to the returners. Just try and hit spirals. And then, through that, you learn some base technique, and then you go learn from somebody else to clean it all up. And then, I'm really thankful for the coaches that I've had that have kind of refined my technique, but it definitely starts with a natural skill set, I think.
Was it at all like, was there any resistance from you of, I'm going to specialize in punting? Was there any no, I want to be the quarterback? I mean,
yeah, for sure. There was. Yeah, when I went to Oregon State, I was thinking in the back of my mind. So they had recruited me a bit as a quarterback as well. So when I got to Oregon State, I had it in the back of my mind. I was like, okay, I'm gonna get on campus as the punter, and then I'm gonna throw balls and off-season workouts, and they're gonna see me, and they're gonna say, oh man, we need to get this guy in the quarterback room. And we had 6 scholarship quarterbacks, and I was not gonna beat out any of them. So I was like, okay, well, let's put all my eggs in this punting basket. And, did that and ended up starting as a true freshman, for 4 years at Oregon State, and realized the quarterbacks had to stay way later than everybody else. They had so much responsibility and blame when things went bad. So being a punter probably wasn't the worst thing for me, and was able to earn a scholarship going into my second year. And, really just enjoyed my time at Corvallis, and Oregon State was a great spot for me. But in the back of my mind, I always thought, oh man, if I go in there and get some reps, and if I can get on the look team or something, I'll light them up. And but it's been fun. I am so thankful that's how my career has turned out, because being a punter is probably the best job in the world.
Maybe it can still happen. Maybe you can you're still just like, I'm going to be the punter right now, and then maybe, just maybe, I can be the starting QB for the Rams.
Yeah.
Call that fake punt, coach.
Well, I was going to say, how many official passes do you have in the NFL right now?
Oh man, I've thrown maybe 20.
Yeah, I mean that's you got a little bit of that. You tickled that itch a little bit. I mean, you're throwing fucking footballs in the NFL. There's no denying that.
There was. So my second year in the league, they actually had me throwing during 7-on-7 for the rookie mini camp, or it was after practice. We had a rookie development period. So it was just rookies doing 7-on-7, and they brought me out there with one of the rookie quarterbacks they had in St. Louis. And they're just showing me the diagrams. Okay, this guy's running here, going here. I was like, okay, whatever. There's no pressure. I'm just gonna drop back and let it fly. I think I ended up doing pretty good, actually. I don't remember my stats from the day, but I remember leaving pretty impressed with myself. It was fun. I feel like I definitely had my NFL quarterback moment.
Dude,
that'd be like a movie. If you wrote a movie where the punter gets a weird opportunity to throw balls with the practice squad, and you're just zipping them, and you got them right in, and they're like, whoa, this is pretty crazy, and then you win a Super Bowl. I mean, you won a Super Bowl anyway, but maybe you could win another.
I think that's the plot line to Air Bud.
It might be.
Whoa, what's this dog doing? Fuck, dude. When they call a fake punt, right? You get that, you're in the huddle, it's about to come. Are you just so jacked up? How do you contain yourself and not show that off right before you're about to pull that off? Going through the motions, you're about to kick it.
It takes some mental gymnastics for sure. You go out there and you're thinking, okay, like this is a big moment.
Yeah.
Don't blow it, because if I blow it, I'm not going to get to throw another one. So it's a deal where there's definitely a lot of pressure on me, but then I also have to act cool. I can't let any of my like pre punt routine look different, or any of my like my stance. I always swing my arms. I can't let any of that be off or different. So yeah, for the most part, I'm just trying to play it cool, and then when the time comes, just let it rip. Just pretend like it's for the most part, it's just everyone's so caught off guard. It's literally just me and one guy on the field, like he's wide open. So we're just playing catch. So I think about, we're playing catch just like we do in practice. You know, we run it in practice multiple times every week. So just go back to that and have confidence and go out and do your thing.
That's so funny that it's just like, oh, nothing to see here, everybody. But meanwhile, you're trying to trick like millions of people. I mean, you're trying to trick everybody on the other team. You're tricking everyone in the stand. You're trying to trick everybody on TV. Like you're all of a sudden
poker
you're an
face.
actor.
I mean, he's like bluffing.
You're fucking like you're like an actor for 40 seconds. It's incredible.
Yeah.
It is fun, and there are times when you go out there and maybe you're trying to act like there is a fake, and you want to like get them a little, butthole on the other side, get them freaking out a little bit, so that way maybe they back off the line if they had a rush or something. So there's different aspects of being tricky on the football field for sure. It's fun.
I wanted to ask you, we had a couple years ago, we had this guy working at Barstool. He was like an intern, but he was from Australia, and he went to Rutgers. He was a punter there. And I remember he went for like a tryout for an NFL kicking gig, and I remember them saying to him, or he came back to the office and was like, "Yeah, I didn't get very far. Like I could kick the ball, whatever it was, 70 yards, 65 yards, because he played rugby and he had such a long, he had ridiculous legs." But he said because of the hang time, they wouldn't even look at him, right? Like he was hitting absolute missiles, but he never got it high enough. So I always wondered like how much of that goes into play of like what's going on through your mind? Is it hang time? Is it length? Like, because that was very interesting to me. I never really thought of hang time as that important when kicking. I always thought just try and boom it as far as you possibly could.
Yeah, I mean, so I've been taught that there's three factors. There's hang time, distance, and direction. And for it to be a good punt, you need two of the three. You know, an elite punt is going to have all three. You know, you're going to put it, 55 yards on the sideline, 5 seconds of hang time. But then there's also in the distance and hang time calculation, you want them to match up. So like to force a fair catch, they say, okay, if you're going to hit it 40 yards, it needs to be at least 4 seconds. 45 yards, 4.5 seconds. 50 yards, 5.0. And so, yeah, for the most part, you're really just trying to get it in the direction you want first off, so your cover guys know which way to go. And then if you out punt your coverage, you're going to hit like a 70-yarder with 4 seconds of hang time, and the returner is going to have a few seconds before anyone's even near him. So you never want that, because those guys are so dangerous, and they're paid just to run balls back to the end zone. So it is it's your job to really limit that and hang it up there for them.
What goes into the mental aspect of it? Because I met a lot of these times you're sitting there not really doing much in terms of in the field, and then all of a sudden you come out and there's a big moment. I mean, like you said, you need to kick a ball pretty elitely, pretty perfectly. Do you work with like any mental coach? Do you read any books? How do you prepare for kind of the mental part of turning it off for a while and then like snapping in and being able to perform?
Yeah, I think that's something that has come naturally. I mean, I've definitely read books. I've talked to people, I've picked other punters' brains on that kind of aspect, just because it is so unique. You're kicking into a net for 3 downs. I mean, really kind of just first down, and then I catch snaps from our snapper for second down and a little bit of third down, and then I hit one more ball in the net. But really, I think what's most vital for me is just communication, just knowing, okay, this is where the coach wants me to go. So that way I can kind of visualize it while I'm, getting ready to take the field, and then just making sure that everyone on the punt team communicates together and gets the same call, and we all know what we're doing. But for the most part, yeah, I mean, when we're on defense, I'm just hanging out. I'm just sitting on the sideline, trying to stay loose and crack some jokes with our kicker and just lay low. So there is a bit of a disconnect you have to have, so you can just be, for me personally, there's guys do it differently, depending on their personalities, but I'm definitely a loosey goosey, have fun, keep it light. Don't take the game too seriously, because it's entertainment. It's just a game to a lot of people. So, we go out there and have fun and, handle business when we need to. But that disconnect is pretty important, and just knowing, okay, being able to lock in when you need to, but just, having confidence in the communication and your preparation is also huge.
Is there ever a moment in a game where like the game's locked up, you know you guys are gonna win, there's a third down and part of you's rooting for like, all right, don't get this one, boys. I'm gonna punt the shit out of this next ball.
I mean, it depends on what my punts previously have been. Usually, I'm just rooting for a first down. Let's just go home. Let's get back in the locker room. I got a soda to drink with the boys and hang out. So it's I'm usually rooting for the game to end as fast as possible. But if the moment's right, if we're at elevation and got a nice little wind to your back, why not go out there and pipe one? Why not do it?
That is, you just can. That's like such a rare move or position to be in sports where you can just send one. Like you can just kind of wail away and kick something as hard and high as you possibly can. That's just got to feel great, especially with your adrenaline. Like, do you notice, golfers talk all the time about like back nine Sunday, they got to adjust their yardages because of adrenaline and tournament, adrenaline is different than practice rounds. Do you kick it further and harder and higher in gameplay or in the Super Bowl than you do in practice?
For sure. Yeah. I mean, it definitely in warm up, sometimes you just get in a groove and you're like, where is this guy? Where's this guy coming from? But, for the most part, I mean, it's very similar to golf as well. You don't want to get onto the tee and swing as hard as you can and just forget all your technique. There's kind of a method to kind of being relaxed, swinging just smooth through the ball. Especially for me, I got really long legs, swinging smooth and just with clean technique usually helps me more than really amping up and trying just to absolutely murder a football. So there's a fine line you walk with, between happy Gilmore and, just hitting a chip. You got to find the happy medium, what works for you. But it's just like a golfer. Every specialist knows their swing, knows kind of what their operating ranges are. I don't think anyone's going to swing unless you're trying to break an NFL record for the longest field goal. You're not going to really swing as hard as you can and really just forget everything. But it is a great thing when you do connect on one and you're really in the zone, just adrenaline's pumping and you're in a game, you just absolute smoke one. That's a great feeling, especially when, sometimes like when you're golfing, you hit a ball and you just can tell as soon as you hear the sound. Sometimes I'm still looking down, the ball is already traveling. I'm just like, oh yeah, that ball's annihilated. So that's fun.
That's great.
That is just fantastic. It is golf-like, man. It's because like basketball, hockey, a lot of positions in kind of football, it's like you're in the flow of the game. It's more just reactionary, whereas your position is very much like you kind of come in, you think about it for a while, you come in, and here's the moment. Do you visualize, like, what is your right before you kick it, are you thinking about anything? Do you visualize exactly the trajectory, the traj, or you kind of think about where you want it to land? What do you think about?
Yeah, so I mean, before that, I think about kind of what approach I want to take, where we're at in the field, how much field we have, what kind of punt I want to hit. Do I want to hit a spiral? Do I want to hit an end over end? Do I want something that cuts, or draws a little bit? And, just what am I going to, it's very much like golf, especially going in punts, anywhere from like the 50 going in. You got to try and place the ball. So when I'm back there, I usually just try and make sure that my body's faced towards where I want to go. I pick a point in the stadium or maybe up in one of the press boxes that I want to start my ball at. And then, just always visualize the ideal trajectory. And then if it's a little bit off, then you can live with that. But definitely always envision the perfect ball flight before you go out there.
They're essentially approach
That's
shots.
golf.
You're hitting cut shots and draws into a green. That's all you're doing.
Yeah, exactly. The different thing for me is, I'm facing right, trying to get the returner to go over there, to play it over there, and then I'm yanking one left, whereas in golf, you never want to yank it away from where you're trying to go. But this one, you're trying to be a little bit tricky, and, you have different shots in your bag to bend it away from guys and make them come up on it and just have the trajectory be a little bit different from what they see.
You also have professional athletes trying to stop you from performing that, which is a little bit different than golf.
Right. Yeah, running at you, trying to block it. Yeah, it is. That would be cool to see people trying to block golf balls. That'd be probably a lot of injuries.
Have you perfected that little pirouette that punters will do when a guy just comes under their foot and they do that little spin? I always love that when they show that in slow motion when the punter's trying to get that little contact.
Not really. It happens so naturally. For the most part, I'm trying to get out of the way by anybody. Early in my career, when I got kind of run into and I didn't fall down and I got kind of yelled at for that, like, well, hey, we could have got 5 yards and a first down. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize. But you learn as you get older, and then kind of become a little more crafty and go down a little more easily.
What are your thoughts on making a tackle?
Just get in the way. I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not gonna pretend like I'm a linebacker or someone, real like sure thing when it comes to tackling someone in the open field. So for the most part, I try and use the sideline as my friend, and then use my friends as my friends. Trying to turn them back to the real athletes that are pursuing from the other angles. But and part of that is just getting up in there. When I punt a ball, I usually don't sit there and watch it. Unless it's a going in where I know there's not going to be a return, I'll usually run down to where I think the return's going to go, and just having some awareness in that respect. So if they're trying to set up a wall return, you kind of try to beat the wall and cut it off. So just being involved, being down there, be a body. If you make the tackle, great. If not, just make him stutter his feet or run out of bounds.
Yep.
Dude, we have to do a punting video. I mean, if we got the Pro Tracer, dude, on your punts, like when you hit like a draw and a cut, you hit them like high, low, right yardage, and then like we try to do it, you talk us through it. I mean, that'd be incredible.
Yeah. Hey, let's do it. I'm down. Some of them are pretty easy to do. Some of them might take some more practice, but it's fun.
I wouldn't be able to punt a ball more than 10 yards. I mean, I got weakest ankles. Are you crazy?
Try to punt, your ankle just breaks in half. You fall.
That's why we're gonna do it. That's why it's a good idea.
Yeah, we're gonna make sure we stretch a lot before and after, because that'll be a hamstring blowout waiting to happen.
Dude, watching you just paint the field would be awesome.
Yeah,
that would be so
that would be cool.
Yeah,
because like people don't realize what goes into it.
Yeah, it is fun. And I mean, and the cool thing is there's guys hitting so many different styles of punts with like trajectories and how the ball moves. It's pretty fun to watch, and I'm sure getting like a shot tracer on those would be pretty cool to see. Okay.
What you got to do is we got to have him punt on a golf course. Like
Yeah.
actually hit them into greens, right? Over the water. Hit it. You want to left to right. Go with the wind. How many greens can he hit on all 18 holes of a golf course from however many yards out? That'd be fucking awesome.
That might be the idea.
That might be the idea, dude.
Dude, you dropping them in next to flag sticks? That'd be insane.
It'd leave a nice imprint next to the green. I'm sure the
ground crew would love that. We just gotta make sure.
Yeah, the ground crew would not be happy.
Hard greens,
Yeah, firm greens, firm greens.
Yeah.
Man, awesome. That's really cool. I mean, you're Super Bowl champ. You have the record, I believe, Super Bowl record for 65-yarder in the Super Bowl, which is insane. You signed a 5-year, $18.8 million contract punting in the NFL. It's just so cool. It's so specialized. It's at such a high level. And like Frankie said, people, really impressive professional athletes, are trying to do anything to stop you from doing what you want to do. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, it is kind of it's one of the bigger adjustments from level to level is just the speed of people trying to block you. Your get off time has to be so much better, which just means your hands have to be more pure, catching the ball, getting it molded, putting it out there. So there's a lot to it. I don't have much time to sit there and think about it once the snap really happens. It's just like a kind of a swing motion. Once you start with the backswing, you can't think, is my club face aligned? Okay, and the half part of my backswing or the very top, what am I doing? You just got to kind of be in the moment and kind of get in the zone and just not think about it too much, because the more you're thinking, the harder time you're going to have for sure.
It's crazy. It's awesome. So cool. Well, Johnny Hekker, Super Bowl champ. We're going to do a video. We're going to make a video. We're going to go to a golf course. We're going to have you just drop little teardrops in next to flag sticks all over that place. It's going to be great.
Let's do it.
All right.
I'm in.
Well, we appreciate the time. Let's set that up. And, obviously good luck next season. Good luck with everything. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Thanks, man.
Congratulations.
Peace out. Thank
congrats.
you. Thanks, guys.